So, hi everyone. So, welcome to another episode of GTV. And today I'm here with my very good friend, Martine De Luna. So, Martine is a transformational coach, speaker, and trainer. And today, nag-usap kami what topic kaya, what can we share with you, no? So, we decided to share this teach what you know, 'di ba? Kasi uso 'yan ngayon, Marts eh. So I was
Mm-hmm.
actually like going through like some vlogs a while ago. And then one of those, I forgot sino ng vlogger yung napanood ko kanina. And she was telling us, no, through her video, that there are three kinds of things that you can actually now do, no, or like sell basically online. You can sell services, you can sell products, obviously what we know, diba? Those two. And you can also sell information. So
Yep.
information to get the attention of people. And apparently, like, I don't know if you've noticed this as well. Like, when you go through your Facebook feed, ang dami ngayong webinars.
Ang daming webinars, trainings, courses, programs.
Diba?
Totoo.
Yun nga. Tapos kakausap ko lang yung isang friend ko, si Shansi. I don't know if you know him. I just spoke with him a while ago. He's an SEO coach naman. And yun din, na parang, yun nga, maraming gumagawa ng mga training courses, diba? Online courses and everything. So, I'm sure, and I know that you're also doing this, no? I know that you have like, and you've been
Yep.
successful. You have like a lot of trainees. You also
Kasalanan mo yun eh. Ikaw yung may gawa niyan eh. When we started Manila Workshop Collabs,
Ayan, ikakwento
8
yung part
years ago.
sa'yo. Sa inyong lahat. Okay, so, Marts, maybe you can tell us, before we go to the questions, no? Like, maybe you can tell us more about yourself and
Okay.
what have you been doing that's basically related to teaching what you know, no? And yeah, maybe the history of what happened.
All right. Okay. So I do actually have a teaching background. So when I'm not a licensed teacher, but there was an independent school that I used to work for, and they hired creative people who were very open-minded about education. So this was back in 2002. It was my first job, and my job was basically to mentor teenage homeschoolers
Okay.
so that they would be able to be creative, explore options, and yes, work at home. All my children talking to me.
Naintindihan namin
Realness,
lahat.
realness. Okay. So that was my first work. That I was doing that for 7 years, and then I got the 7-year itch,
Mm-hmm.
diba? And I said, I think I'm meant to pivot to something else, and so I shifted to my work from home job. I was 6 months into motherhood then, and that also involved like a teaching learning dynamic. So I became a copywriter.
Mm-hmm.
And fact, I didn't know anything about copywriting. I was just very willing to learn, and this boss of mine was willing to pay me to learn. And so I started to experience mentorship in that path. This copywriter would mentor me, and then he'd say, teach the team, teach the team. So I would be doing that. I'm always in kind of like this framework of learning something and then expected to pass on
Yes.
skills to other people. So kind of similar to what I was doing doon sa independent school, no? And then it came to a point where people were asking me about my blog. So in 2010, I started a blog, right? Mommy blog, yung golden
Yes.
age of
Thank
mommy
you.
bloggers, right? Yeah. It was called Dainty Mom. And then I was asked by some readers, maybe you can do a workshop kasi you talk a lot about being a work at home mom. Ganyan. And then pumasok si Ginge. That's when I met you, diba? We met in ano pa, diba, podium pa. We had
Yes.
Mediterranean.
Naiba pa na yung podium din ngayon.
Oh, tagal na nun, guys, ha? And then we decided, Ginger was launching a startup called Manila Workshops. And then she said, I'd love to bring education, to people, education that's not, like the regular education you get in school. And me naman, diba, coming from the background of that independent homeschoolers collective, game na game ako. So I said, yes, I love that. So together we pioneered this workshop series for work at home moms. And it started there. After that same year, people were asking me to coach them one-on-one. Doon naman sa how do you build a brand?
Yeah.
through your blog. Ganyan. So that's a bit of my history, and I haven't stopped since then to
Mm-mm.
coach people. Nag-iba lang yung path ko of coaching. So around 2015, when I had my second baby,
Mm-mm.
talagang pag may anak kayo, guys, matitrigger kayo to
Iba
change
yung path.
course. I
Ang iba yung
stopped blogging. I stopped blogging. The blog had run its course by 2015, end of 2015. And we also had to move houses. I got depressed, like all the things that happened with the second baby. And it led me to life coaching
Mm.
because I sought the help of a coach to help me out of where I was. Yung talagang I was so depressed. You remember, diba? We're
Yeah.
friends. And then I sought the community of coaches. So hiring my first life coach was pivotal because then I started to see I do like helping people. I've always been helping people by showing them the
Yeah.
way shower, diba, like they say. So I started to learn coaching talaga. And then in 2018, I got certified in transformational coaching or life coaching.
Nice.
And that it just hasn't stopped since then. I started to also look into how to train companies, train employees, train specific niches like mothers,
Yeah.
parents, and things like that. So that's where I am now. I'm still taking up yet another
Yeah.
certification, right, for leadership right now with Bob Proctor's company. So it's really been a path of lifelong learning. Because when you're learning anything and you're experiencing the outcomes of those learnings, then you can teach. You
Yeah.
can teach from
True.
your experience. So, okay, Sha. So, like what you were saying, we're seeing all of these things.
Mm.
Now's the time for that where people are launching courses, people are launching programs. It's absolutely the environment for it because we're in a new world, in a new normal, and people are looking to up their game and do something new as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
related to that, Marts, no? Like for example, like for people who have like different skills or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
know about like different stuff, no? Like the way you
Mm-hmm.
made kwento kasi it's really like this happened and then I thought it
Yeah.
happened and then I thought it, no?
Mm-hmm.
But for
Yeah.
a lot of people who are watching, I'm sure ganito yan sila. Alam ko to, alam ko to, alam ko to. So what do
Yes.
I actually teach people? Like I
Mm.
want to teach, where do I begin? And
Right.
how do I know if I'm actually capable of teaching, diba? A thing
Okay.
or a topic, yeah.
Right. Okay. So there's this, there are these experiences that you look out for, these experiences that you look out for in your life. And when they become more and more common, then most possibly people are noticing that you stand out in a certain thing.
Mm.
Like, remember that woman who, out of the blue, she asked me, can you teach me how to build a brand,
Yeah.
like using my blog? So I consider that as a trigger for me to teach something because somebody asked, somebody noticed, and somebody asked. So I always say to my clients who want to teach or they want to become a coach, what have people approached you for? So there
Mm.
are three questions that you can consider asking yourself. Like,
Yeah.
what have people approached me
Mm.
about to help them with? That's the first. Okay. What experiences have I had in my life that show a level of skill or a level of experience that I can actually pass on knowledge or skills based on that experience? And
Okay.
then number three, how willing am I to develop myself so that I can do the first two?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Those three, right? Because when you have that mindset, and I learned this from watching people like Dean Graziosi,
Yeah.
like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, it's really when you take your experiences and you don't see them as an end, you see yourself as being influential to others, then you can reverse engineer yung mga experiences
Yeah.
nyo. So let's say somebody comes up to you, Ginge, and I know several have, diba? Ginge, how do I become an entrepreneur? Diba? You would be able to tell them because you started being an entrepreneur 8 years ago,
Yeah.
right? You can reverse engineer your path to building Manila workshops, to building Taxumo. You can actually reverse engineer that, like Steve Jobs says, there is no way to connect the dots moving forward, only
That's true.
going back.
Oh,
So reverse engineering is very important. Remembering the steps that it takes to get you to where you are in your journey. And then when you are able to look back at that, kind of like when productivity experts say, what do you want to accomplish? Let's work backwards in the calendar.
Mm-mm.
Parang ganun
Right.
din when you think you can't teach something, but I bet you ask 5 people in your life, what would you come to me to help you with for, diba? And
Mm-mm.
listen to their answers and find the common pattern in it. So if somebody were to ask me, who would I go to for business consulting? And then I'll say, oh, go to Ginger Arboleda because she's a business coach. She put up these businesses through the years. She's growth hacked all of them, and she's very trustworthy, right? So there you also leverage the people who know you and know
Mm-mm.
about you and can actually give you a very honest feedback of how you've been helpful. So
Yeah.
that's the first key. Yung parang, how do you know that you're actually impactful if you've
Mm-mm.
helped somebody get to where they want to go?
Yeah, alam mo, yun nga eh, while you were saying those questions na, ang dami ko na naisip na hindi lang, I think I can teach not only like entrepreneurship, pero pati
Yeah,
productivity, let's say, or
productivity.
time management. Yeah, so I
Mm-mm.
think all of our viewers could actually like think of
Yes.
topics na, no? And
Mm-hmm.
going to that point mo na parang you can ask people around you.
Yeah.
Well, alam mo yon, like the reality, well, sana positive lahat sila, di ba? Like, it's
Yeah.
good
It
to be
won't always
surrounded.
be. Yeah.
Oo, di ba? It's good to be surrounded by people, but the reality is, meron pa rin mga negative people around, di ba?
Ay talaga. Oo.
So, how do you deal with like imposter syndrome na sometimes, kasi,
Okay.
di ba, I mean like out of the
Yeah.
blue, like sa YouTube,
Yeah.
nanonood ako ng mga, and tinitignan ko yung mga comments, even like yung mga good coaches and good people who I
Yeah.
really look at or view, no,
Yeah.
mga videos, people will say, biglang out of the blue, eh, alam ko na yun eh, I know that already, or gano'n, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's nothing new or something like that. So how do you
Yeah.
deal with that?
Okay. So imposter syndrome is basically a state of feeling you're not good enough. And everybody has that. And what I always remind clients about this is, like, let's say they want to do something, but they feel like they're not enough. I always remind them that there's a duality to everything. There's always two sides to the coin. If you feel like you're not enough, what are you willing to do so that you will feel confident, right? So there's always two sides to it. So imposter syndrome comes from not knowing that you
Yeah.
are enough. So how will you affirm yourself that you are enough? And a lot of people, they're able to answer that very quickly. So let's say your client is stuck. Oh, hindi ko ma-launch yung teaching course ko kasi wala akong teaching degree. Right?
Yeah.
Diba? And I will ask them, well, what is it that you want to achieve back? Is it the teaching degree that you can, or do you want to go out and actually show 5 people how to do one thing really well? And
Yeah.
then when they say, I just actually want to teach people to do one thing really well. Oh, that's all you need. That
Oo.
is all you need. You don't need the piece of paper. You can get it eventually as an adjunct, di ba? Pwede naman pagsabayan yung education eh, di
Yeah.
ba? But it doesn't stop you from proving to yourself that you can do it in spite of what that duality says. Because there will always be two sides nga to the coin. Eh. You will always feel like you are not enough if you don't decide to give yourself that boost, to give yourself, let's say, more confidence, to give yourself maybe the advice of a mentor who can show you the way or who can guide you in the way. So imposter syndrome, the antidote to that is filling yourself up. You fill yourself up. Surround yourself with the right people. Gas na yon. But that is actually
Pero yun
true.
talaga eh. Totoo.
Yeah, yeah. Then fill yourself up with knowledge, but also seek to apply that knowledge really well. And this is where a mastermind comes in very well. So masterminds are they're aggregations of people that are on a similar path. And I'm sure you've heard of organizations like BNI. You've heard of organizations like Toastmasters. These are examples of places where you can develop acumen and
Yeah.
skill, right? You can also develop your network. And like they say, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Hang out with certain people, and that imposter syndrome, mawawala yan because you will have knowledge, you will have community, you will have collective support, you will have mentorship, you will have that affirmation that, hey, I'm filling myself up so
Correct.
I can go out and teach those 5 people that one thing that they want to know.
Wow, very good tip, Marts. I think
Yeah.
no, like, and even yun nga, networking, no, that's a practical advice that you can.
Yes.
So speaking about like advice, no, or tips, what other more practical tips can you
Mm-hmm.
give us if I really want to start now, as in now,
Right.
engage?
Okay. So how do you start teaching even if you have no experience? Okay. So the best way to do this is to kind of like give yourself permission to do a beta group. Now this can be a group of people who've come to you through time and said, I think you'd be really good at teaching this specific thing. So let's say you're a mom,
Yeah.
and then somebody says, oh, could you teach sewing to
Yeah.
our to our group? And you'd be surprised how many women want to learn sewing kasi hindi na nila ginawa sa home ec school,
True.
right? Sewing is very, and you could probably say, okay, I'll teach sewing. I'll give myself the opportunity to feel what it feels like to pass on a skill to somebody else. And
Yeah.
right now, all it takes is just Zoom,
Mm-mm.
and then give your 5 beta testers, a list of materials to bring to the session, and then say, okay, we're going to sew a pocket onto a t-shirt. Diba?
Yeah.
There's an outcome to that. There's material, there's a process, and there's an outcome. And you
Mm-mm.
just do that. It's just an example of one system from start to finish, one learning experience from start to finish. That's might be a silly example, diba? But that's how basic you can get it. You can
Mm-mm.
start with what you know, and you can start with leveraging people to get their own materials,
Yeah.
diba? To get their own materials for the sewing. You don't even have to charge them for it. Bahala sila to bring it into the picture.
Mm-mm.
And then let's say that goes well. Everybody's happy. They were able to sew a pocket onto a t-shirt. And then
Correct.
they'll say, get feedback from them. So can you give me feedback about, our little sewing lesson there? And say, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Can we sew something more complex? Well,
Mm-mm.
then you're challenged again. Okay, level 2. Let's try to sew a sleeve on a sleeveless, something like that. Diba?
Yeah.
So you take them up a notch. And this is where you kind of give yourself that proof that you can pass on a skill. That's all you really need. You just need proof that you can pass a skill on. And you can see it with your eyes that it's replicated in 2, 5, 10
Yeah.
people.
Totoo,
That's it.
no? Kasi, alam mo, like, for the longest time, like, people have been asking me, Ginger, paano ba, like, how do you manage your time, di ba? For me, kasi
Mm.
for the longest time, parang, madali, parang, ano yung tuturo ko? Like, ano yung tuturo ko?
Oo.
Like, paano ko binubook sa Google Calendar, di ba? Yung mga ganyan.
Yes. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
Exactly. So, parang, I found it, parang, ako mismo, like, ano yung tuturo ko? I couldn't, like, figure out ano yung process.
Yeah.
And then when I thought about it like really hard,
Yeah.
so I got to see yung nitty-gritty details or yung stuff that I actually do, which I
Yes.
think like, normal naman yun, di ba? Which hindi pala normal sa iba. Like parang,
Nope. It's
okay,
natural to you kasi it's your personality. But
exactly.
for other people who want to change their personality, they'd be willing to invest in that.
Oo. So, ganun din yung example mo actually. Like, for some
Yeah.
people will say, what? Pagtatahi ako ng pocket sa t-shirt? Eh, alam na ng lahat
Uh-uh.
ng tao yan eh. Diba? So,
Yes.
yeah. But no, people still
Yeah.
want to learn about like things that you feel na
Yes.
but yun pala
Yeah.
hindi. Diba?
That's right.
So, yun yung challenge ko before I got into it. So, in terms of like challenges, Marts,
Challenges.
can you like tell us, no, what are the challenges really when I want to teach already something to others?
Okay. So here's a challenge. I'll use a personal example in this case. Okay. So my challenge before, aside from the imposter syndrome, was who am I to teach writing? Because there was an episode in my life where all the blog readers were asking, Marts, teach us to write. I've never taught writing previous to that, right? But then that compelled me to look nga at my blogging, at my writing, and say, wait a minute, why are these people asking me to teach something that comes so naturally to me?
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the mindset of connecting the dots backwards nga, as Steve Jobs says, goes into the picture. So that's when you reverse engineer. And what I like to do there is I like to start with a mind map. I put myself there in the middle of the mind map, and then I put branches. What have people asked me to write? Okay, so this group of people, they want all about blogging. So I'll put here, how do I formulate a blog post? Like, what's my process? I really have to think about it. So nakalagay doon, I sit down in my computer and I think of an idea, or I look back at my journal and see what I've written down. Or I go through my social media and see what experiences did people like a lot, you know, which post had the most engagement and that looks like people would be interested in. So that's an example of taking your habits apart.
Yeah, true.
Okay? Kasi if you can, pag nahimay mo yung habits mo, then you've created a framework. And people actually, what people buy in terms of what you teach is the pathway, the beginning to the end, the process, the system. Diba? That's why formulas, blueprints, programs, these are the things that sell, diba? Oo, diba? And diba? And you might think, Ginge, na, well, productivity, parang it just comes so natural to me. Matuturo ko ba yan? Yes, absolutely. Just like you would, and I have graphic designer clients, right? And I always say, yung parang, who are your favorite clients? Who are your favorite clients? Like, these are the clients that when I create a design, they have one or two changes and then they love it. They love it na. So, that perfect client, diba? Who are your imperfect clients? The ones that make you do 17 million revisions and then just get it right, diba?
May masabi.
Oo, diba? So what you're looking for here, if you're going to teach something, is you're identifying the criteria for that client who will make what you do seem difficult for them, meaning it will make your teaching of it valuable because it's easy for you. Like, it's easy for me to look at my Google Calendar and plan it this way. It's such a habit. How can I teach that? How will I break down the process of organizing my mind into my Google Calendar? And then once you have that process and you can teach it to people, then you can say, here's a foolproof way to never have distractions anymore, just using Google Calendar.
Oo Kasi
ganon.
Actually, nung na-realize ko nga, nung break down ko yung time in a day of Ginger, ang dami ko pala pwedeng ituro talaga. Like, from early, anong ginagawa ko first, anong next, yung una versus this. So, parang ang dami pala. So, maybe nga, really reverse engineer.
Reverse engineer.
Yeah, ito, wala to dun I just thought of this, Like, for example, Marts, you want to build, you're starting to, let's say, do your beta classes, your beta classes, and then, sige, 3, naging 5. How do you build trust? Like, how do you build trust with them? And then how do you grow that influence, that you have?
Yeah. Okay, so remember, well, you can relate because you have a blog, you have platforms, right? It's really much, I would say, it takes a lot of the steps out when you create a platform merely to give and come from a place of giving. I think influencers, bloggers, vloggers come from this place. You want to share information just because it's there for you to share. I think that's very important mindset to have, na you come from a place of giving value. Giving value, and then giving value to what people find valuable. That's important also. Because you can give what you think is valuable, but if nobody cares about it, it's not valuable to market as a teaching or as a course or as a program that they can get value from. So come from a place of always listening to people. Listening to people. So listen to people's concerns. Listen to people's pain points. Listen to people's, what are people posting on social media that they're ranting about, that they are complaining about. You'd be surprised at how documenting some of these things can give birth to so many ideas for what you can teach or what you can solve. Diba, they asked us in math, solve for X.
Yes.
Parang ganun ang ginagawa mo when you are social listening. So you're listening to people's conversations. Hindi naman yung nakikinig ka literally, but you're seeing what are people posting na articles.
Mm-mm.
it kind of like gives you an idea what this person is obsessed about in their life, diba?
True.
What are people talking about in group chats or conversations? Gives you information about what they may be thinking about when they're
Mm.
at home, or when they're thinking about their life, diba?
Yeah.
So it's very important to listen to also to where you are, to your environment, to where you find yourself, not just in a business setting, not
Yeah.
just in a business setting, but in every opportunity that you have to listen to people. Listen in for their pain points.
Yeah.
So right now, for example, I have a client. They make travel bags, but
Okay.
nobody's traveling right
Oh,
now,
hi.
right? So they pivoted to make reusable items and reusable pads,
Mm.
reusable masks, because it uses the same raw materials, but because you're listening
Yeah.
to the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist is the collective consciousness. Right now, it's stay home, cover
Correct.
up, stay well, diba? Eliminate going out, eliminate waste, and things like
True.
that.
Ang hirap kasi
So
kung bili ka ng bili
yeah,
outside eh. Yeah.
right. So she was like, okay, maybe I can pivot. That's the word right now. Maybe we can pivot so that our production line is not making travel bags anymore, because we're not going to be able to travel for a while, but we're making things that are relevant to people now. So
Yeah.
I've had a number of clients pivot their businesses to what is apparent in the zeitgeist, in the collective consciousness, sa mga nangyayari. Right?
Ngayon.
That's really important to have.
On the other side of the spectrum naman, Marts, yung mga nakikinig, I mean, yung mga
Mm,
nakikinig sa mga teachers, no? Online
mm,
teachers, online courses, all of these
mm-hmm.
webinars and stuff, no? Content that is thrown out.
Yeah.
So how do you distinguish now, like the content that you need to basically follow and absorb
Mm-hmm.
versus content that you should or teachers that you should like stay away
Mm,
from? Kasi alam mo nang
mm.
hindi yun yung motive, no? But hindi
Right.
yun yung value. It's not that, no? So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
how do you like identify?
Yeah. Well, in the work that I do, a lot of what I teach clients to develop is their mindset and
Mm-hmm.
also their awareness, right? Because if you are able to detect a genuine teacher from somebody that's trying to make a quick buck,
Yeah,
diba? Then you're developing you're kind of developing your radar, diba?
yeah,
So watch out for teachers that are promising you maybe something that's too good to be true,
mm-hmm.
right? Okay. So right now, I see a lot of programs maybe that promise you that you can make money real quick with this. And yes, you can absolutely do that, but there are certain pathways that make that possible.
Yeah,
Like maybe there are funnels to install. There's
mm-hmm.
ads to invest in. That's not free. That's not, all of those things have built-in factors that you must invest in if you want to use nga that get rich quick
Siyempre, oo.
formula, diba? So be mindful,
Mm-hmm.
choose and discern the content that you consume. Right?
Yeah,
And usually ito yon. If you've been searching online, like how do I make money quickly? How do I make money quickly? For sure, when you log onto your Instagram and you log onto your Facebook, the ads that will be shown to
how
you
to make
will
money
be,
quickly.
yeah, because guys, everyone's listening right now. There's, algorithms are listening to you all the time. So instead of like, like searching for these things, say, where can I invest my money for growth?
Mm-hmm.
Where can I learn a new skill so that I will be able to um, teach teach a basic course immediately?
True.
Like be very mindful of what thoughts you put out there. I swear to you, like Google is very intelligent,
Oh, that's
Facebook is very
true.
intelligent, so they really listen. The
Mm.
other day nga I was just talking to my husband about falafels, right? And we were on our phones, right? We were on, and then suddenly an ad shows up about this falafel place, and then we ended up ordering, of course.
Oh.
So you want to be discerning kasi about what you're putting out there, what you're searching for, the articles that you click
Yeah.
on as well. That can give you a lot of information as to what's going to show up next in front of your face for you to click on,
Yeah.
right? So I would search those with social proof already. I would go to teachers who actually teach skills,
Yeah.
you know.
True.
So Facebook groups that you can vet with 5 other people. So let's say you want to learn how to be a freelancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daming ganon. But how do you know which community to go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you go to somebody who's already a successful freelancer and ask them, what were some of the things that you learned? Where were some of the resources that you acquired? And then you go by that instead of just going for some random thing that you see advertised on Facebook or on Instagram or on Google. Look for social proof within your natural network first. So your natural network is your arm's length, your first line of connection. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be colleagues, that can be maybe members of a Facebook group that you've bonded with, because most likely there's a degree of trust already,
Yeah.
right? There's a degree of trust. So that will kind of like lessen the risk that you'll take, diba? And that will also maximize your time a bit more
Yeah.
because you're not just randomly searching for answers. You've already touched base with that arm's length network, or your first degree network in your
Yeah.
natural network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Totoo naman.
context is important.
Yeah, kasi these are the people that you trust. And malamang yung
Yeah.
people that you trust, malamang may
Yeah.
iba dyan who can actually sort of like, who
Mm-hmm.
went through it already, who went through
Correct.
courses or teachers who
Yeah.
could, diba, who you can actually ask. So,
Mm-hmm.
sige. So, for the last question, Marts, no? So, what are your tips na lang for last advice, no? For
Mm-hmm.
people who want to teach what they know?
Okay. So like I was saying, remember those three questions earlier. What have people approached you to help them with? So start listening actively to people asking you, and then also ask your people. So you can go and ask I've done this. I've emailed friends, and I asked them, I would like to teach something that will be valuable to people. How have I helped you? That's a first. So
Mm-hmm.
sending an email, send a Viber message, and then collect and collate those answers and see what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Next is take an audit. So take a skills and experience audit. And I love doing this. It's the first step in personal branding. So
Yeah.
this is basically observing what technical skills you have, what functional skills you have, and what behavioral skills you have.
Nako,
And
ang
and
dami pa ngayon, di ba, Marts? At this
ang
point in
dami.
time na lockdown tayo, I'm sure
Yeah.
ang dami ngayon nag-build ng panibagong skill.
Oo. Maraming nag-urban gardening ngayon. Maraming nananahi ngayon.
Talaga
Diba?
kailangan
Maraming
audit.
nagbe-bake ng tinapay. There's
Oh,
so
yung
did
friend
you
kong
notice?
doctor. Yeah,
Bre-
yung friend kong doctor. Bigla na post siya
Mm.
sa Instagram, nagluto siya nag-bake siya. Sabi ko, wow.
Bake siya.
Sabi niya,
Everybody's baking.
nag-unlock ako ng skills ko right now dahil wala akong pasyente.
Right. Yan. So
Galing.
skills audit, because not only is that kind of like an audit for you, but it's a confidence booster. I did this last night in a training because I'm actually conducting a training right now
Okay.
on how to launch your group coaching or your group mentoring program online. And there were so many people on that live stream that did the audit then and there, and then nawala yung imposter syndrome nila. As in, they came out of the training with an idea of what they could
Wow.
teach, diba?
Yeah.
So super important yan. So take a personal skills and experience audit. And then the third, surround yourself with mentors and leaders. Okay? Because mentors and leaders, these are these are people that you look up to. And you can do this literally, like you can approach a person, or virtually. Get a book, get an Audible track, download a Kindle book, and follow a mentor. Really, really study what they've done. Tony Robbins always says, like, if you want to be successful, you look at somebody who's already doing
Correct.
what you do, and you ask them, you follow them, you get their advice. So that's really it. Yung parang once you build up that confidence, and like I said earlier, you fill yourself up.
Yeah.
Kasi you fill yourself up with confidence. You also fill yourself up with those answers from people, whether it's critique or it's constructive. You welcome it all. It's
Yeah.
important that nobody can be perfect. Okay,
Exactly.
if you were to be perfect, then you actually wouldn't be qualified to teach.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be able to help somebody who gets stuck. You
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to help somebody who's having a challenge in their learning and help them progress from it. Diba?
Yeah.
So welcome the challenges, welcome the critiques,
Mhm.
and also use that as fuel to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my
Okay.
tips.
Thank you so much, Mart, for all of your
Yay.
tips and advice. Are you running any course right now, or like or
Yes.
something you might want to share with the view?
Okay, so let's see what I am doing. I don't know how to share my screen.
Oh wait.
Okay, can I
May
share my?
yeah. There's a share
Can I
screen
share it?
button.
Okay, here. Okay,
There,
so
there.
you guys can just go to my So if Ginger can share this one. Oops. Okay. Okay, so this is my Facebook group. So you can just go there. And as you can see, there is a free masterclass happening in my group. So it's called Mentoring and Group Coaching Free Masterclass. Run your own online group programs for influence, enjoyment, and income. So I really love this opportunity to to
Mhm.
teach this, because a lot of people have asked me already through the years, how can I become a mentor, how can I run a teaching program online or a coaching program online. And I always say it really starts with you deciding that you want to help people. So tonight, well, as of this recording, it's the second day of this challenge. So what we're really going to do is we are going to take apart the process of finding the people that you want to serve, creating your group coaching experience so that you take people on an experience of growth and fulfillment, and then how to cash in on that. So, how to utilize tools and systems so that you can earn money
Okay.
from what you know,
Wait,
right? So, that's
second day
happening
is
inside my group.
second day
Hmm?
of the March, second day of
Yeah,
class.
yeah, but the master class is in the units. So the classes are done live, but they're stored in the units so that people who aren't able to make them live, they can catch up.
Okay,
And this is,
got
yeah,
it.
and then this is also going to lead into a program that I'm leading in July to October, which is my Awaken the Leader mentorship program. So it teaches people mentorship and group coaching skills so that they'll be able to launch their own online program that they enjoy running and that people enjoy experiencing.
Wow. So I think no, a lot of people will want to consider this at this point in
Yeah.
time. Kasi,
This
um,
is totally free. They don't even have to join my mentoring program. I'm giving everything that I've learned and known the past decade of that I've been doing things online. So this is really just a gratitude to the universe for everything that it has given to me in terms of becoming a coach for people, becoming somebody that can lead and guide people. So yeah, it's super fun. We had almost 100 people in here last night taking the class live. It's very interactive. So guys, if you would like to take it up and you're watching this video later on, it lives inside my Facebook group, the Self Trust Sisterhood, where we talk about trusting yourself to make big leaps and make big changes in your life.
okay, so thank you again so much, Mart. And I hope I can
Thank you,
invite you
Ginge.
again next time.
Yes, please. This is so much fun.
Okay, all right. Thank you for
Okay.
watching, everyone. So
Thank you, everybody.
don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the notification bell for more videos. Bye.
Bye.